Good afternoon, investor and corporate. Welcome to Digital Roadshow Year's End 2024 Performance Review. This session will run about 45 minutes, including Q&A. Company will start the session by 30-minute presentation, followed by 15-minute Q&A. During Q&A, investor may leave your question in meeting room chat box or use raise your hand function. We will open your microphone so you can ask the question to the company directly. May I now invite PTG Energy Public Company Limited to start the presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Digital Roadshow for PTG Energy Public Company Limited in reporting the financial statements for the fourth quarter of 2024 and fiscal year of 2024 ended 31st December of 2024. So before I dive for today's presentations, I would like to introduce our key speakers today. Sitting next to me is Kun Parami Sinhanchok-Wanit.
Good afternoon, สวัสดีครับ
Vice President and Head of Investor Relations. Sitting in front of me, Kun Pichaya Kongsirit-Chulong.
สวัสดีค่ะ
Senior Investor Relations, and I'm Nopasongwang, Investor Relations. So for today's agenda, I would like to walk you through on the snapshots and highlights of this year, followed by key performance, and then Kun Pichaya will walk you through on financial statements, key summaries, and outlook of the. Let's have a look on the key snapshot of fourth quarter. You can see that the company continues to strengthen its position in the market through the network expansion, increased fuel sales, and a growing customer base. Currently, the company operates 2,229 fuel stations nationwide. And in fourth quarter, the retail fuel sales through our station reached up to 1,696 million liters, an increase of 9.6% year-on-year. This strong performance helped us increase our oil retail market share to 21.9%. On the customer engagement front, our PT Max Card membership base now exceeds 25 million members, highlighting the continued success of our loyalty program. Beyond our fuel operations, the company is accelerating growth in the non-oil sector. As of fourth quarter, there are 2,208 non-oil touchpoints, excluding LPG-related businesses. Among the standout performers would be the Thai Coffee, which right now operates up to 1,347 branches, which maintaining its strong expansion momentum, which has been increased by 465 branches, or equivalent to an expansion of 1.3 branches per day. And in terms of the shareholder returns, the company has announced the dividend payment of 35 satang for the operating performance of the fiscal year of 2024. The company has already paid the interim dividend by 10 satang and has been made back on 12 December of 2024, and the remaining of 25 satang will be made on May 16, 2025, which shall be subjected to our AGM shareholder approval, which will be made on 25th of April 2025. The total dividend payout ratio was at 59%. Look at on the overall performance of the fourth quarter, you can see that the revenue is increased by 7.9% Q-on-Q and 18.5% year-on-year to 58,681 million baht. And the gross profit also increased by 7.8% Q-on-Q and 5.3% year-on-year to 3,808 million baht. The gross profit contribution, you can see that on the right-hand side, our non-oil gross profit contribution has been increased continually to 26.4%, which majority derived from Thai of 10.7%, followed by Maxmart of 2.8%, and other non-oil businesses of 12.9%. These increase compared to the third quarter of last year was at 26.1%, and the same period last year, which stood at 20.8%. The EBITDA this quarter also grew by 19.5% Q1Q, but declined slightly by 7.1% year-on-year to 1,604 million baht. For the key highlights of 2024 has been a year of breaking limits of the company, not just in our core oil business, but also in non-oil expansion and innovation. Let's take a closer look at some of the key milestones we have achieved. First, our oil business has set a new record growth of oil sales volume of 12.5% year-on-year, reaching at 6,708 million liters. This was primarily driven by the retail station, which saw an increase of oil sales volume by 12.9% year-on-year to 6,548 million liters. This was even more remarkable is that the company's sales not only hit a new all-time high, but also outpaced by the industry growth by 10 times, which grew only 0.4% year-on-year. Another major step forward was Atlas was filing for a stocks exchange listing, which has been made back in 10th of October 2024. This move is aimed for expanding LPG infrastructure, capturing new growth opportunities, and long-term value creation. Moving to non-oil business, the second one is the Thai coffee, which has delivered an extraordinary of 82.6% year-on-year revenue growth, reaching at 2,266 million baht. The increase was mainly derived from the aforementioned of the increase in sales in stores by 465 new stores, and also the same store sales growth of roughly 30 to 40% year-on-year growth. And this was success not only in Thai, but in terms of our innovation also played a key role in this year. The company has introduced the Max Card Plus EV, which is a new initiative designed to expand our EV customer base and further strengthen the Max Road ecosystem. This membership card allows EV users to accumulate points and enjoy exclusive benefits, making their experience even more rewarding. Meanwhile, our EV charging infrastructure also saw significant growth. Elex by ECAP PT now operates at 190 EV charging stations nationwide. Importantly, we have integrated Max Card rewards into EV charging experience, allowing customers to earn points and redeem benefits seamlessly. And the last one is the Auto Bags, which continue its strong expansion as well, now reaching 117 branches nationwide, offering comprehensive automotive service, and it is one of the key drivers for the non-oil revenue growth. In summary, this year was a transformational year where the company successfully broke the limits in multiple areas, achieving record growth in our oil business, driving rapid expansion in non-oil, and pioneering innovation that redefine customer engagement. The next one, the company did not achieve a strong growth in its core business, but also expanded its strategic investment to reinforce its position across multiple industries. Under the theme Succeed Together, we are taking proactive steps to strengthen our ecosystem and create new opportunities for sustainable growth. For the first one, we invested 33.33% in Thailand Capital, which is a hire purchase financing company for second-hand trucks, supporting accessibility to funding for commercial business. Another major investment was the Thai Paiboon, or TPD, which is the waste management business. The company has acquired initial portion of 10% stakes back in the first quarter of 2024. But by beginning of this year, the company has increased its stakes up to 31.56% of the total newly issued share in Thai Paiboon equipment. With this sector also aligns closely with our ESG strategy and the long-term sustainability goals. Following our acquisition of the Subway master franchise in Thailand, the company plans to open 50 new branches annually under the Fresh Food 2.0 concept to enhancing customer experience. And the next one is the supporting local businesses. We remain priority for the company. That's why we signed the MOU with PTG to empower SMEs in franchise expansion. Through this partnership, we are helping small businesses gain access to financing and expert guidance, make it easier for them to scale, succeed. Lastly, it is the reinforcing our commitment to sustainability. The company entered into the MOU with Mae Fah Luang, Royal Forest Department, and Bank for Agriculture and Agricultural Cooperation. This collaboration focuses on the forest restoration, supporting local farmers, and integrating locally sourced raw materials into Thai coffee supply chain. Moreover, the company also reinforced its commitment to governance, transparency, and a strong corporate culture. Our goal remains clear: to enhance the well-being of our employees, customers, and society. We are proud to announce that the company was ranked 58 of the Fortune Southeast Asia 500 list, which is the inaugural list that has been made for the first time. The recognition highlights our strong regional growth potential in Southeast Asian market. Another key milestone is our CAC certifications under the Collective Action Coalition Against the Corruption. And additionally, the company received 2 HR Asia Award, namely the Best Company to Work For and Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. So let's have a brief in terms of our ESG development. We have continuously engaged in our ESG in terms of activities. So let's begin with the environment. The company is actively working to reduce environmental impact through several key initiatives. For example, the mangrove restorations covering 90.5 rai, generating carbon credit in the future, or solar roof installations, which generating 3.71 million kilowatt hours, reducing of roughly 1,600 tons of carbon dioxide emissions. And another one is the expansion of EV charging station, as I mentioned earlier, and a carbon reduction of roughly 90,000 kilo carbon dioxide equivalent through the LESS, or Low Emission Support Scheme. In terms of social responsibility, the company also prioritizes in terms of employee and community engagement. The employee engagement score reached 79%. Community satisfaction with the social project is also impressive, stood at 96.7%. And supporting Thai farmers by generating 6.76 million baht income and employment support for 195 people with disabilities, financial aid of roughly 46 million baht for 369 elderly individuals. Or even the PT Volunteer Camp Initiative, which we have already supported 45 communities and provide the eyeglasses for elderly up to 1,560 people. In terms of governance, the company has already got the CAC certifications for the third consecutive years, and also the Asian checklist of the score, which stood at 100 score, and the customer satisfaction also remains high at 82.24% for commercial customers and 93.85% for retail consumers. In terms of the next agenda, which is the key performance, let's begin with the oil stations touch points. Right now we have 2,229 stations, which comprise of oil cocoa of 1,865 stations and oil dodo of 364 stations. If you're looking at the distribution by region, you can see that in the northeastern, still remain the largest proportion of 31%, followed by northern part of 21%, southern part of 11%, and western part of 11% respectively. And if you're looking at the overall consumption of oil in Thailand compared to the company's sales volume, you can see that the overall Thailand's oil consumption in this quarter stood at 9,076 million liters, an increase of 4.9% Q1Q and 0.7% year-on-year. If you're looking at the retail consumption on the bar chart on the bottom left-hand side, you can see that the consumption stood at 7,333 million liters, an increase of 6.0% Q-on-Q, but a slight decline of 0.1% year-on-year. If you're looking at the PTG sales volume, the growth was outpaced by the market as well. If you look at the retail consumption, there is an increase of 6% Q1Q, but our growth remains strong at 7.5% Q1Q growth. And if you compare to the retail consumption in Thailand, that was slight decline by 0.1% year-on-year. You can see that in the fourth quarter, we did it outpaced by 10 times as well, which grew by 9.6% year-on-year. So the total sales volume from PTG side stood at 1,696 million liters. The increase was not largely from the expansion, which grew only 1.3% year-on-year, but largely derived from the same store sales growth, which grew significantly by 11.6% year-on-year. If you look in terms of the whole year, the oil channel consumption was slight increase by 1.8% year-on-year to 35,916 million liters. And if you look down into the retail consumption, the whole year was grew only 0.4% year-on-year to 28,915 million liters, which compared to us, the whole year, we have surpassed the growth by more than 10 times as well. We reached our growth to 12.5% year-on-year to 6,708 million liters. The increase was mainly derived from three major factors. The first one is even if we are not highly expanding to the new stations, but we also keep renovating our stations continuously. And last year we have renovated up to 89 stations. And the second one is the service enhancement. We have been providing a service to the customers continuously. We also have the PT service master. And not only that, we also we have partnered with the DIT for providing the local sourcing procurement of the local raw materials, for example, eggs or mangoes. And we partner with them in order to procure them in a fair price. And we give it to our Max Card members when they come refilling within the stations. And the third one is the data optimization. Right now, we have more than 25 million members, which comprise of the Max Card Plus, Max Card Plus EV. And also we have the MEC, which is the Max Enterprise Connect, a solution platform which provided for our commercial clients. So all in all, these three strategies was help drive the sales growth to the company. As I mentioned earlier, the growth in the fourth quarter has helped the company to successfully increase its retail market share through PT service stations up to 21.9%, which went up from 20.1% from the same period last year, and also from the previous quarter, which stood at 21.5%. Let's move into our non-oil business. Let's start with the number of touch points. As I mentioned earlier, that the touch point has been increased to 2,208 touch points, which largely derived from the Pantai Coffee, which we have expanded up to 465 branches, followed by the EV charging station of 141 stations, and Autobags, which is the automotive service center, which grew by 49 branches. If you look in terms of the non-oil revenue, the non-oil revenue in this quarter has reached to 5,466 million baht, an increase of 45.3% year-on-year and 26.8% Q-on-Q. The growth was mainly driven by the accounting recognition under the Thai Financial Reporting Interpreted Standards 12 or TFRIC 12, which reflecting the service concession rights under the Waste to Energy Power Plant concession agreement for municipal solid waste management in Ban Phru municipality. Therefore, the company has to record the revenue in corresponding with the cost of 558 million baht was recognized based on the consideration received, and the initial value was measured at fair value as an intangible asset under the terms of concession agreement. And secondly, the growth still derives mainly from the Pantai Coffees, which has more than doubled in comparison to the same period last year. And if you look in terms of the full year, the revenue stood at 17,958 million baht, an increase of 31.2% year-on-year. In terms of the non-oil gross profit, the gross profit was increased by 9.1% Q-on-Q and 33.8% year-on-year to 1,007 million baht in the fourth quarter of this year. The growth was majority driven by the Pantai Coffee, followed by the Autobags, which is the car service maintenance center business. And if you look in terms of the whole year, the gross profit stood at 3,688 million baht, an increase of 34.5% year-on-year. Therefore, if you look in terms of the gross profit contribution in this quarter, it has been increased to 26.4%. And in terms of the full year, the non-oil gross profit stood at 25%, which in line with the company guidance initially at 25 to 30%. And next one is the non-oil business touch points. As of end of last year, the total touch point was stood at 2,208, which comprised of the Pantai Coffee of 1,347, Maxmart of 374 branches, Coffee Road of 24 branches, the Autobags at 117 branches, and Max Natron, which is the lubricant change of 50 locations, the Max Camp, which is the raised area, we have at 106, and the last one is the EV charging station of 190 stations. And next is the Pantai business. I have PTG. In fourth quarter 2024, Pantai Coffee generated 725 million baht in revenue, marking a double year-on-year increase and a 26.7% Q-over-Q growth. For the revenue for the whole year, reached 2,266 million baht, with an increase of 82.6% year-on-year. This from Pantai branch expansions over 52.7% year-on-year and 19.6% Q-on-Q, reaching 1,347 branches. Notably that on the top right-hand side, Pantai has strategically expanded into high potential area beyond service stations. contributing to the same-store sales growth over 30% year-over-year from the repetitive customer of PT Card and PT Card Plus member, together with the quality enhancement. For the gross profit amount to 407 million baht, representing a 38.5% Q-on-Q increase and over double year-on-year growth. For cumulative gross profit reached 1,207 million baht, reflecting an 80.2% year-on-year growth. And on this slide, you will see that these are key positive factors that driving Thai coffee growth in terms of quality. One of our most successful initiatives was the Thai which play a crucial role in attracting new customer segment, especially young consumers that have tried our product and became loyal customers and even turned into brand advocates, helping us expand our reach through word of mouth and organic engagement. Additionally, Thai collaborate with 10 coffee masters from northern Thailand to introduce premium home brew coffee, providing customers with high-quality Thai while also supporting local farmers to earn sustainable income. Beyond the product development, we have enhanced our branding and store design to better align with consumer preference and elevating their customer experience. Next, for order bags, report of 284 million baht, reflecting a 10.4% Q-on-Q increase and a 60.8% year-on-year growth, and record revenue of the past year of 1,006 million baht, representing 76.4% year-over-year increase. The growth was primarily driven by the expansion of 14 new branches Q-on-Q and 49 additional branches year-on-year. However, if you see the gross profit on the bottom left-hand side, declined by 69.6% Q-on-Q and 43.2% year-on-year, reaching 23 million baht. That from the higher than expected rebate provisions and inventory adjustment corresponding to the lower demand that customers postponed their service visits for joining the tax program in the first quarter of this year. But if you see the cumulative gross profit in the previous year, still increasing by 70.9% year-over-year to 220 million baht. And this an example of order bag store expansion campaigns designed to encourage customers to experience our service firsthand, ultimately converting them into loyal repeat customers. For the income statement in fourth quarter 2024, the company recorded revenue of 59 billion baht, an increase of 18.5% year-on-year and 7.9% Q-on-Q. The change was largely driven by the oil business, which contributed 90.7% of total revenue, or 53 billion baht, which representing a 16.3% year-on-year and 6.3% Q-on-Q increase. The increasing due to the higher oil sales volume, and additionally, the non-oil business also grew by 45.3% year-over-year and 26.8% Q-over-Q, reaching 5,466 million baht. For the accumulated revenue in the previous year, also increased by 30.6% year-on-year to over 226 billion baht, with the majority growth from the oil business, which account for 90.5% of total revenue, contributing 208 billion baht, which growing from the same period last year by 12.3%. At the same time, non-oil business revenue reached 18,000 million baht, which increasing by 31.2% year-over-year. And on the right-hand side box, you will see the gross profit of the company was 3,809 billion baht, rose by 5.3% year-on-year and 7.8% Q-on-Q. which mainly due to the oil gross profit decline by 2.2% year-on-year from a reduction in marketing margin per liter due to the misalignment between the oil fund and ex-refinery price. On the other hand, the oil gross profit comparing to the last quarter increasing by 7.4% Q-over-Q to 2.8 billion baht. However, the non-oil business continued to grow by its GP by 33.8% year-on-year and 0.1% Q-on-Q, and accounting for 26.4% of total gross profit. For the gross profit of the previous year at 15,000 million baht, representing a 14.3% year-on-year increase. In terms of EBITDA in fourth quarter 2024, it was 1.6 billion baht, reflecting a decrease of 7.1% year-over-year from the lower gross profit per liter with the higher SG&A from non-oil touchpoint expansions. However, this was partially offset by significant growth in share profit by over 4 times comparing to the same period last year from Thai Paiboon and Paisan Capital, coupled with an improvement in production efficiency of palm complex business. In contrast, there is an increase in EBITDA by 19.5% Q-on-Q from an oil sales volume growth and network expansion in both oil and non-oil business, together with an increase in share profit by 4.9% Q-on-Q from Ama Marine and Palm Complex. And for those reasons I mentioned before, the company net profit in fourth quarter stood at 236 million baht, reflecting a 56.4% year-on-year decline, but a triple growth compared to the last quarter. For over the past year, net profit grew by 7.5% year-on-year to 1,042 million baht. For financial position at the end of the last year, company had total asset of 51,752 million baht, an increase of 10.3% from the end of last year, or 4,820 million baht increase from main 4 factors. The first one is the PPE increased by 2,608 million baht, driven by the continued expansions of company's oil and non-oil business. Secondly, an investment in Paisan and Thai Paiboon rose by 1,001 million baht, together with an inventory increase by 965 million baht, which in line with the stock management as well as the company oil sales volume growth. And the last one was 660 million baht incremental of intangible asset, which mainly from the recognitions of service concessions right under the TFIX 12 accounting standard for the waste to energy power plants. However, were partially offset by the decrease of 1,168 million baht in cash. On the right-hand side, you'll see the total liability amount to 42 billion baht, representing an increase of 4,464 million, which from the 2,497 million baht in short-term borrowing and current portion of long-term debt, driven by an increase of 1,347 in short-term loan and bank overdraft for financial institutions, along with a 1,150 million baht increase in bond maturing within 1 year due to the reclassifications of long-term debentures. Additionally, trade and other payable increased by 1,945 million baht, or 18.8% year-on-year, aligned with the oil sales volume growth and the increase in oil cost per liter. However, this increase was partially offset by a decrease of 554 million baht in long-term loans and the reclassifications of long-term debentures. The company total shareholder equity amount to 9,282 million baht, marking an increase of 356 million baht, mainly driven by improvement of operations performance during the period. And let's move on to the key financial ratio. For the top left box, there are an increase in annualized ROA and ROE from the same period last year due to the higher profitability, following with a rise in leverage ratio of DE as an investment and business expansion plan. In terms of operating cycle, the cash cycle become more negative due to the efficient working capital management. And for cash flow, on the bottom right-hand side, there is a negative net cash flow by 1,168 million baht, largely due to an increased investment during the period. Next, for the approval of dividend payment from the operating result for the last year at rate of 55 stamp per share, for a total of 1,670 million common shares, amounting to a total of 584.5 million baht, or 95% of net profit. The company has set the record date on 11 March 2025 and its dividend date on 10 March 2025, with the dividend payment scheduled for 16 May of this year, which subject to the approval of the 2025 annual general meeting of shareholders, which will be held on 25 April. Next, let's briefly review the target summary for the last year. I will start with the oil expansion, which grew to 2,229 stations, which are more reaching our target of 2,251. For non-oil touch point have expanded significantly to 2,208, which is getting close to our goal of 2,243. And in terms of Thai coffee shop, has surpassed our target of 1,282 to 1,347 branches. For the performance on the right-hand side, we achieved a strong performance across all key metrics. For oil sales grew by 12.5% year-over-year, hitting our target range of 10 to 15%. Non-oil sales increased by 57.7% year-over-year, which will above our target of 40 to 50%. And non-oil gross profit contributions is now 25%, which in line with our expectations of 25 to 30. And lastly, for EBITDA growth of 8.8% year-on-year, comparing to 8 to 12% target. For target in this year, we aim to grow to 2,279 oil stations and expand on oil touch points to 2,978 touch points, which comprising to 1,947 Thai coffee branch and other non-oil touch points, such as Maxmart, Coffee World, Auto Bags, of 1,031 touch points. In terms of performance, oil sales volume is expected to grow by 5 to 10% year-on-year, as well as in non-oil sales growth by 40 to 50% year-on-year. Non-oil gross profit contribution is set to increase to 30 to 35% of total gross profit, and EBITDA growth is targeted at 8 to 12% year-on-year. Besides that, we have set a capex for this year to be in the range of 3 to 4 billion baht, which allocated 1 to 1.5 billion baht to expand and renovate our oil station to improve service efficiency, as well as Thai investment of 1 to 1.5 billion baht for brand expansions. We have set aside 500 to 1,000 million to strengthen our non-oil business. And lastly, we are allocating 1 to 1.5 million for new business opportunity.
I would like to conclude our presentation is that we can see that the previous year, 2024, is the big leap of our non-oil business, whether it be in terms of quantity growth, we outpace the GDP 10 times, or the quality growth in terms of the high repetition of our members. So in this year, 2025, we will continue our momentum to leverage the members, to leverage the stations. So this year, what to expect is that the GP, the gross profit contribution of our non-oil business will be more and more. Into 2023, our GP of non-oil business is 21.2% to our total GP, gross profit. 2024, we record at 25% contribution. So this year, that's why we set our target to be 30 to 35% of our gross profit will be contributed from the non-oil business. So our PTG will become more and more non-oil company. So thank you for supporting us throughout the previous year, and we hope you continue supporting us this year as well. We commit to do our best, and we'll keep you in touch, and we'll update you in the next quarter. And thank you, and see you again.
This session has come to the end. Thank you very much, investor and corporate, for joining the conference. If you do need further details, please feel free to drop us an email. ขอบคุณครับ
ขอบคุณครับ สวัสดีครับ